Hey, and welcome back. So today I got a video that may be sort of disturbing for some people to hear. I'm just letting you know now, partly because the one of the news broadcasts I'm going to be showing you actually does say that contains disturbing content. As you probably told by the title and everything, we're going to be talking about exportation of horses for use for meat, essentially, and kind of talking about a little bit of the history of what's going on in Canada and the petitions that have gone through, and it being talked about in the House of Commons. Now, this is something that I've been meaning to make a video for over a year, because about a year ago it was brought up in House of Commons, and it was talked about. There was a bunch of cheering. I haven't been able to find that video yet, but I have been able to find other videos and other things that's happening in the House right now, along with a very well-known Canadian singer by the name of Jan Arden, who put through the last petition, which ended on the 7th, I believe, of February. We can take a look at that in a second. But let's take a look at what Alistair McGregor, I think his name is. He's an NDP from British Columbia. And let's see what he has to say in regards to this in the House. So this is after the petition was already done, and he was presenting the petition to the House. So let's take a look at that.
Presenting petitions, the Honourable Member for Cowichan, Malahat, Langford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm proud to present e-petition 4190, which was actively promoted by singer Jan Arden and signed by more than 36,000 people across Canada, making it the third highest petition of this Parliament. The petition is to the Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food, and the petitioners, Mr. Speaker, recognize that banning the export of live horses for slaughter is in the Minister of Agriculture's mandate letter from the Prime Minister and in the Liberals' 2021 election campaign commitment. They recognize that horses are flown from Canada to Japan in cramped wooden crates in journeys that can commonly take more than 24 hours. They recognize that horses panic easily, have strong flight or fight instincts, and have extremely sensitive hearing. And they also recognize, Mr. Speaker, that since 2010, the NDP has introduced 3 private members' bills to ban the live export of horses for slaughter. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, the petitioners are calling on the Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food to halt the live export of horses for slaughter. Thank you. Yes.
All right, so that is McAllister or Alistair McGregor with the NDP, and so he ended up going and making this petition, Jan Arden made this petition with his help, more than likely, pushed it through and stuff like that. So when I was actually looking through who's been petitioning for this, who's been offering the bills, it's actually been Western provinces that have been putting this through, because it's also been a Western issue, right? So, what is it? Winnipeg or Manitoba? One, I think it's Winnipeg Airport, Calgary Airport, and Edmonton Airport export the horses mainly to Japan for meat, so that they can be slaughtered and used for meat. And they call it bashimi, is what they call it. So it's kind of like a sashimi, but of horses. And there's also a lot of slaughtering done here in Canada as well, and fresh meat is then sent to other countries as well. Now, there are a lot of countries that do still eat horse meat, and other than some of the information I'm going to pull up here in a second, just going to bring this up. So here we have, which tab is this? Well, let's pull up the petition. I think it's this one. Yeah, so this one was done up by Jan Arden, and she brings up, all of this stuff in there. She's down here, and also 36,000 signatures. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because when you look at these other petitions from previous years, where's the year on this? 2016. And this was actually done by Mark Holland, which is Ontario. So I apologize, I didn't get that one totally correct. But I also don't really like this guy. He only got 5,000 signatures, and this was put forward by Shelley Granger from Ontario. And then we got this one here, which is also put through by... Okay, so I got that a little wrong. But Western provinces are the ones that are speaking up a lot. So Shelley Granger, again, did this one in 2020, and only got 4,600 signatures. So Jan Arden's is the one that probably got the most, probably because she's got a bigger name than Shelley. I don't know who this Shelley person is. I didn't look that up. But long story short, that's what's been going on. This is a bill that was put through in 2011, and that talks about, you know, the horse meat and stuff like that. Just essentially, you know, don't allow them to be slaughtered for human consumption, and don't allow any horse meat products. Now, why is this important? Well, let's go over to I've done a lot of research into this. So here is a bunch of different places. So there are some butcher shops as of 2011, because this is from 2011, that were selling them all across Canada. Typically, it's Quebec that does it, and they do like you'll find it in superstores and other places, and and some restaurants higher end will serve horse meat as well. Now, the USDA, which I thought I had that bookmark saved there, but the USDA turned around and they banned it because horse meat is considered toxic. Well, I don't think they banned it. They just deregulated it. So I guess you can still buy it, but it's not regulated because horse meat is considered toxic because of the pharmaceuticals that are used in horses throughout their whole life and also leading up to their death. So that would, you know, make that happen. Now, one of the things I found in this, which is pretty interesting, is so China consumes 400,000 tons of horse meat. Then you got Kazakhstan, which is also doing sausages. Mongolia is doing, you know, grocery stores. Belgians like the horse meat lean, while Italy likes it fatter or fatty. And which horse meat is pretty lean anyways, from my understanding. And the French prefer the tender meat fringed with yellow fat that comes from older horses. So they want their horses to be aged, which typically is not something you want in meat in general, but I guess that's what they prefer. Now, it says here in this article that every week there are about 100 that are loaded onto planes in the Calgary International Airport, and then by the time their meat is butchered, sliced, and served in Japanese restaurants, each horse is worth about $20,000, according to 2008 Alberta Horse Welfare Report. Now, this is all sort of old news, but it's actually still pretty accurate. Let me see if I can find... Oh, I didn't put these in order. Actually, one of the things... So this is how they're transported. They're transported in these crates that are literally the same. Like, you can see this horse here, and it's literally the size of the horse. And that's part of the reason why Jan Arden is bringing this up. And this is part of the reason why actually a lot of people are bringing it up, because Canada is one of the top producers for horses or horse meat in all of Canada, or in all of the world. One of the top. I'm not saying we're the top. I'm saying we're one of the top. Now, let's take a look at Jan Arden's interview here. This video will get a little long, so I apologize. I got a few more things to talk about after this.
And Jan Arden is joining us now via Zoom. First off, we would like to congratulate you, Jan, for being inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And like you said, you are too young to be going in.
Yeah, well, I think it really is.
Before we go further, so I did reach out to Jan Arden's agents to have a conversation about this more in depth on, you know, what's going on with the petition. And also I wanted to try and get a couple of things banged off the table with that, because she's sort of active in a lot of other things that I wanted to kind of get her input with, because a lot of people do respect her, to kind of get an idea of what's going on. I got a response back saying that she's on tour and all this because she is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and she's got all these other things going on. So unfortunately, they said that it doesn't look like we'd be able to have this together, but they wish me luck on my videos, so I hope this video does well. Let's continue.
It's about an accumulation of time, certainly, but I'm very honored to be in the company of the other fellow inductees. 50 years of the Junos. It's been a pretty incredible half century for the Canadian music industry, for sure.
Absolutely, and thanks for your contributions as well. Now, you're not here just to talk about that. You're also here for a movement that's very close to your heart. You're teaming up with the Canadian Horse Defence Coalition to end the live export of horses for slaughter from Canada and abroad. For many, this is surprising news, and we do have a warning. Some viewers may not like some of the language they hear, but it is necessary to get the message out. So what can you tell us a little bit about?
Well, In 2006, the slaughtering of horses was banned in the United States because people actually took they lifted themselves out of an apathetic state and they signed petitions and they ended it. But what's happening now is the United States is shipping 125,000 horses plus a year up to the Canadian border because Canada is one of the biggest horse meat suppliers on the planet. And one of the sinister parts of this industry, you're looking at feedlots right now. Mm-hmm. These horses live and die in these feedlots by the thousands. They are, when they're at a certain age, they're packed into wooden crates. 4 at a time. They're put in large 747s. It's a 2-day journey. Crapping on each other, of course, turbulence, falling on each other in these crates. You know, horses have a very difficult time being in confined spaces. They are flight animals. They're terrified. So a 2-day flight to a little island in Japan where they are slaughtered for raw horse meat. It's a delicacy. It's very expensive. It's called sashimi. But it's not feeding hundreds of Canadians. It is it's an industry that literally makes 4 or 5 guys rich. They call themselves farmers. They receive all the tax benefits that a farmer would. These are people that own their own horses, that proudly ride them around their properties. But they delegate these other ones that they cram into these, boxes. Mm-hmm. And it's just a terrifying, horrible, sinister part of Canadian agriculture. And we need to do something about it. We need to stop it.
Now, I'm going to stop there just to make the video a little bit shorter. So everything she is saying is true. I've verified a lot of things. I just noticed, though, in this video that it actually zoomed in on the name of the farm. I'm going to look into that a little bit more just to see what's going on there. But I have been able to verify a lot of this because there is documentation with the government for the last 10, 15 years of people trying to end this and stop it from happening, right? Not to mention the last that I heard, the last article I found for Quebec eating the meat was, I think, 2013 or something. So I don't know if Quebec is still eating the meat. There was another article I found that wasn't dated where they were talking about that. So I'm not 100% sure if Quebec is still eating it. So let me know what you think. And also with this video, let me know what you think in regards to this. So I'm not a fan of horses being used for meat, but it also looks like it's a certain type of breed of horses that are being used, excluding the draft horses that are being used as well, because they have been sending out those ones. But at the same time, it kind of looks like sort of the same as like cows, right? You got a certain breed of cow that you breed, and you breed them a lot, and you treat them about the same as you're treating those horses and those feedlots that Jan was saying, and all of those other things, right? So it does seem like it is sort of the same as the cow industry. It's just it's horses, right? And people have a different feeling on horses than they do on cows. The other thing is the horse meat, for the most part, is pretty lean, so you actually don't get pound for pound from cow to horses, you actually get less nutrients that you need than you do with with cows, which means you potentially would need more meat to be able to sort of suffice that same amount. So if you normally eat, let's say, 100 grams of meat every night, which is a small amount, you might need 150 kind of thing from some of the studies that I read through about this. But anyways, you let me know what you think about this. Should we be stopping this? Are you going to write to your MPs? Now, there is a website that Jan did set up. It's called horse.ca. I will put the link down in the description, and you can go to that. Now, the petition is already closed, but you can go to that to get a little more information. It links to some other activist websites about horse meat and stuff like that, so you can take a look at that as well. And yeah, I think I'm going to end the video there. This was much longer than I thought it would be, but I'm going to put also a bunch of other links that I went through today down to the comments, so you can take a look yourself and go from there. So anyways, you have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you later.